We are traveling back to the Belle Epoque, a time when elegance reached its peak and bodily discipline was made of iron. It was a world where a woman wouldn't dare leave home without a corset, creating an extreme S-curve silhouette, and a man wouldn't be seen without an elegant cane and a stiff, starched collar. You'll discover why getting dressed took hours, how many layers were hidden beneath those voluminous skirts, and how giant hats became actual weapons. Lace up your corsets. This video is presented at 2x speed, so you can catch every detail of this luxurious yet rigid era. Welcome to 1900. In this video, you will see the fashion of the USA at the turn of the century, but the most unusual and interesting parts await you at the very end. At the heart of this era's beauty was the S-bend corset, pushing the chest forward and hips back. This created the iconic Gibson girl look, the personification of the active yet tightly laced American woman. An American woman's morning began with a feat of endurance. To go out, she had to don at least 7-8 layers. First, stockings and a camise, then the corset, followed by a corset cover to protect the dress. Next came drawers and several petticoats. Without this multi-layered foundation, the outer dress simply wouldn't hang correctly. Hats in 1900 were architectural marvels. Huge brims decorated with taxidermy birds, ostrich feathers, and silk flowers. To keep them in place, women used hat pins up to 12 inches long. In the US, these were often seen as self-defense weapons, and some states even passed laws limiting their length to prevent accidental injuries in crowded streetcars. Why didn't a man in 1900 leave home without a cane? It wasn't just an accessory, but a status symbol and an etiquette requirement. The cane replaced the sword of previous centuries. It was used to greet acquaintances, point directions, or ward off stray dogs. Leaving without a cane or a cane umbrella was considered borderline indecent for a gentleman in New York. Men's fashion was equally rigid. Starched collars were so high and stiff they were nicknamed father killers. They could constrict the carotid artery or cause suffocation if someone fainted. Women, meanwhile, suffered from boned collars that propped up the chin, forcing them to hold their heads in an unnaturally upright and proud position. In the 1900s, showing an ankle was considered highly improper. Women wore high boots with laces or buttons. A special button hook was needed to fasten dozens of tiny buttons. Gloves were mandatory outdoors year-round. They could only be removed while eating, but even then, hands had to remain flawless. The turn of the century was a time of growing emancipation. The tailor-made suit emerged, a simple skirt and a jacket resembling a man's coat. This became the uniform for working women and travelers. For trendy activities like tennis or cycling, special, slightly looser outfits were created, though the corset remained mandatory underneath. Evening fashion in the 1900s was a triumph of luxury. Necklines became deeper, but arms were always covered by long gloves. Dresses were embroidered with beads, sequins, and trimmed with delicate Valenciennes lace. In the US, it was fashionable to order gowns from Paris houses like Worth or Packin, showcasing a family's immense wealth. The most unusual thing about 1900s fashion was how those giant hairstyles were created. Women saved their own fallen hair from brushes for years in hair receivers. This hair was then used to create rats or paddings to add volume. The strangest accessory, however, was mourning jewelry, made from the hair of deceased loved ones. Such was the era, beautiful, complex, and a bit haunting. The 1900s in America was a unique moment in history, a brief lull before the storms of the 20th century, which we now call the Belle Époque. It was a time when the old world, with its rigid etiquette and ceremony, flared up in all its glory for the last time before finally giving way to assembly lines and speed. We've seen a society gripped by steel corsets and starched collars, where even a simple walk required careful preparation and household chores were a daily feat of physical endurance. We've learned why women risked their health for the perfect S-curve and how giant hats became symbols of independence and even tools for self-defense. We peeked into homes where the lack of electricity turned laundry into an exhausting marathon and kerosene lamps required endless care. This world seems infinitely distant, almost like a fairy tale, yet it was here that the habits forming our modern life were born. Look at these old, grainy photographs once more. Behind the layers of lace, the stern faces of men with canes, and the flawless hairstyles of the ladies lie living stories, dreams, and aspirations. These people stood on the threshold of great discoveries, unaware that their familiar way of life would soon vanish forever. By studying their fashion and daily routines, we better understand ourselves, those who live in a world of buttons and touchscreens, but still value beauty and individuality. Our journey to the year 1900 is coming to a close, but this is only the first chapter in the book of forgotten stories. Ahead of us lie even more captivating topics, from the strange and frightening beauty secrets of the past to shocking medical discoveries and the hidden lives of great cities. We will tell the stories that usually remain in the margins of history textbooks. To ensure you don't miss our next dive into the past, be sure to subscribe to the channel. Your subscription and like are the fuel for our time machine. Let us know in the comments, would you want to live even one day in the year 1900, knowing what people had to go through back then? Thank you for being with us. See you in the next episode, where history will once again come alive before your eyes.